Stop scrolling for a second. Whatever you're chasing right now, whether it's success, focus, or control over your life, it doesn't matter if your habits are running you. You've tried quitting. You've tried forcing yourself. And yet, here you are, trapped in the same cycle. What if I told you that willpower alone can't break it? That every time you try to adjust stop, you actually make it stronger? That the reason most people fail is not weakness, not laziness, but a misunderstanding of how the mind works? There's an ancient Japanese philosophy, practiced by warriors and masters for centuries, that teaches a completely different approach. It's called kishi-kize, the transformation of the mind through disciplined awareness. And it doesn't fight your urges. It doesn't shame you. It restructures your mind so cravings, impulses, and bad habits lose their grip. In the next few minutes, you're going to meet Haruto, a young man trapped in his own habits, facing temptations he cannot control. Through his journey, you'll discover how awareness, patience, and deliberate action can free anyone from addiction, whether it's small distractions or destructive cycles. By the end of this story, you'll see exactly why trying harder doesn't work and what actually does. Watch closely, because every second carries a lesson that can change how you act, think, and live. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so I can keep bringing you great content. Chapter 1. The Weight of Habit. Haruto knelt alone in the quiet dojo, the wooden floor cold beneath his knees. His hands trembled not from the chill, but from the storm raging inside him. Every craving, every restless impulse he had fought against in the past months now pressed upon him like an unyielding weight. Though trained in the sword since childhood, skilled in every strike and parry, he found himself powerless before the habits bound him. The year was 1642, and the mountains of Edo Prefecture stood as both sanctuary and prison. Master Takeda entered silently, his calm presence cutting through the tension in the room. "You fight the wrong battle," he said, voice low, yet carrying authority. "The body obeys. The hand strikes. But the mind is the battlefield." Haruto's frustration flared. "I've tried everything, Master. I cannot control it." Takeda's eyes, deep and unwavering, softened. "Control is an illusion," he said. "Each time you force yourself to resist, the chain only tightens. True mastery is not in battling desire, but in seeing it clearly, understanding it, and letting it pass without attachment. This is the Kishi-Kize philosophy. For hours, Haruto practiced observation. Every twitch of his hand, every urge, every racing thought, he named them silently. A craving, impatience, fear. He did not react. He simply witnessed. At first, the sensations were overwhelming, a torrent of frustration, doubt, and shame. But slowly, a space opened between impulse and action. The chain that had seemed unbreakable began to loosen. By the end of 1642, Haruto had glimpsed the first spark of clarity. The battle was not against the habits themselves, but against his mind's habitual reaction to them. Every rising desire became an opportunity, a mirror revealing where awareness faltered. For the first time, he felt the faintest sense of freedom amidst the storm. Master Takeda watched silently, as always. "Remember, Haruto," he said quietly, "the moment you cease to fear the urge, the moment you no longer chase or resist it, is the moment true strength begins. Your hand may still tremble, your heart may still pound, but your mind can remain unshakable." And so, in year 1642, among the quiet mountains and flickering lanterns, Haruto took his first real step toward mastering himself. The first lesson of Kishi-Kize had begun, not by defeating desire, but by witnessing it fully, with patience, presence, and courage. Haruto stepped onto the training ground, the morning air crisp and heavy with expectation. His hands still trembled from the lessons of observation, yet a new challenge awaited him. Today, Master Takeda had no sword in his hands, only the calm, piercing gaze that seemed to look straight through him. "You have seen your cravings, your impulses, your hesitation," Takeda said, voice steady like the mountains themselves. "But awareness alone is not mastery. You must learn to act without being consumed by fear or desire." Haruto nodded, unsure what was coming next. His mind raced with possibilities, sword drills, endurance tests, perhaps a physical trial of strength. But Takeda motioned to a simple stack of firewood. "Ha! Headshot. One log at a time. Do not rush. Do not think beyond the present swing. One action, and fully absorb." At first, it felt trivial. Haruto's pride flared. He had mastered blades, faced opponents stronger than him, yet here he was cutting wood. Each swing echoed through the courtyard. His muscles tensed, sweat beaded on his forehead, but his mind resisted. It wanted to move ahead, to finish, to prove skill. Hours passed. One swing, one breath, one log, repetition stripped away distractions. Thoughts of glory, of recognition, of finishing quickly slowly dissolved. Haruto began to feel a rhythm, the subtle alignment of body, mind, and breath. Every swing became a meditation. Every pause between strikes a mirror reflecting his impatience. Takeda watched silently. Strength is not in speed. Power is not in force. Mastery is in attention. Each action performed fully, without distraction, builds the mind as much as the body. By midday, something had shifted. Haruto's hands were calloused, his arms tired, but his mind felt anchored. The wood no longer symbolized a task. It became a teacher. Every log revealed the gaps in his attention, the corners of his mind still ruled by desire, pride, or fear. As evening fell, Takeda instructed him to clean the dojo, carry water, tend the garden. Haruto obeyed, pride battling patience with every small task. Slowly, he realized that the lessons of the firewood extended to every movement, every choice, every thought. Presence was not only in battle, but in the mundane, the repetitive, the simple acts ignored by most. At night, sitting quietly under the lantern's soft glow, Haruto reflected. The first trial had taught him that discipline is cultivated in patience, not force. Action without presence is hollow. Attention without action is wasted. True mastery demanded both, fully aligned every moment. He closed his eyes, feeling the steady rhythm of his breath, the quiet pulse of life within. The restless cravings, the impulses he had once feared, seemed smaller, more distant. Each step forward was now deliberate, measured, and grounded. The first trial had begun to awaken something deeper, the understanding that control was not imposed, but realized. And in the stillness of the night, Haruto glimpsed the first true spark of inner strength. The quiet, unshakable power of being fully present in every action. The days of simple tasks had passed, yet Haruto's mind was restless. He had learned patience, attention, and presence in action, but the deeper challenge awaited, facing the shadows within himself. Master Takeda had said that true strength did not come from defeating opponents, but from confronting what one feared most, the self. That morning, Haruto entered the hall alone. The wooden beams glowed faintly in the morning sun, and silence hung heavy, almost alive. Takeda's words echoed in his mind. Your enemies are not outside. They are here inside. Haruto's first task was deceptively simple. Meditate. Sit, breathe, observe, but the simplicity of it was the hardest part. His mind wanted movement, action, escape. Thoughts rushed in, memories of failure, shame, pride, and doubt. I will never be free of this, he thought, heart pounding. Why am I even here? Takeda approached silently. Do not resist, he said. Do not judge. Let the shadows rise and witness them without attachment. Fear, anger, regret, each is a teacher. Haruto closed his eyes, hands trembling. He named each thought as it appeared: shame, fear, desire, pride. The act of acknowledgement rather than resistance felt foreign. Slowly, the torrent of emotions became less chaotic. By watching without acting, without judgment, he began to see the patterns of his mind, the ways it led him astray, the impulses he had always obeyed without question. Hours passed like minutes, or perhaps minutes like hours. Haruto's pulse steadied. Shadows that once loomed large seemed smaller, less frightening. His mind, once scattered, found a quiet center. Every inhalation, every exhalation became deliberate. The hall was silent, yet alive with awareness. At midday, Takeda handed him a mirror. Look, he said. Do not see your face. See your mind. Haruto stared. At first, he saw only fatigue, frustration, the reflection of a restless boy. But gradually, shapes began to shift. Moments of pride masquerading as confidence, fear hidden beneath ambition, the endless craving for approval. Each shadow confronted him, and each shadow receded as he faced it. The lesson was clear. Control was not in fighting the inner darkness, but in recognizing it, understanding it, and acting despite it. Fear did not vanish, but it lost its command. Shame did not disappear, but it no longer dictated his choices. Every action now had space, thought, and clarity. By evening, Haruto felt a subtle strength, different from the physical power he had known. It was quiet, resilient, and deeply anchored. The first true confrontation with the self had begun. Master Takeda observed from a distance. Strength without awareness is hollow. Awareness without courage is wasted. You have begun to unite them. Soon, your actions will flow not from impulse but from presence. Only then will mastery become yours. Haruto bowed, feeling the weight of his own progress. The path ahead was still long, fraught with trials, but for the first time, he sensed the invisible thread that could bind his mind, body, and spirit together. The restless shadows of his mind had been met. Not destroyed, but understood. And in that understanding, a new power awakened. The morning sun spilled across the dojo courtyard, warm yet gentle, as Haruto prepared for the day's challenge. Master Takeda stood silently, eyes sharp, observing every subtle shift in his student's stance and breath. Today, Takeda began, your mind will be tested differently. Not through struggle or fear, but through patience. Haruto frowned. He had faced cravings, shadows, inner fear. Yet patience seemed a simple word. How could something so ordinary test him? Takeda gestured toward a narrow path that wound through the garden, lined with stones of uneven size and shape. Walk, he said. Not quickly, not perfectly. Walk as if each step contains the entire world. Pay attention to every shift of your weight, every grain beneath your feet. One misstep and you learn. One hesitation and you grow. At first it seemed easy, but soon Haruto's mind began to race. He wanted to reach the end to finish, to prove himself. His footsteps faltered. He stumbled over a stone. Impatience surged. The voice inside him screamed, "This is meaningless. I am wasting my time." Takeda approached, calm as ever. Meaning is not given by speed or success. It is discovered in presence. Each moment observed, each step fully felt, teaches more than 1,000 victories. Hours passed. Haruto walked slowly, deliberately focusing on the subtle balance between foot and stone, the rhythm of breath, the alignment of body and mind. Every misstep became a teacher, every pause an opportunity to correct, adjust, and notice. By midday, something remarkable began to happen. Haruto's mind, once impatient and scattered, started to settle. Each step felt connected to the last, flowing naturally. The urge to rush or force disappeared. Presence replaced impatience, awareness replaced frustration. Takeda's voice broke the silence. You are learning what the sword alone cannot teach. Patience is the foundation of mastery. Without it, skill collapses under the weight of haste and pride. After walking the path for hours, Haruto was exhausted physically, yet deeply calm. He realized the lesson extended beyond the garden, to action, to thought, to life itself. True control did not come from force, speed, or exertion, but from deliberate attention, from presence in every act, however small. As evening approached, Takeda assigned more tasks, tending the garden, carrying water, stacking firewood. Haruto performed each slowly, fully aware of every motion, every breath. The repetition, once tedious, now became a meditation, a quiet reinforcement of the lesson that mastery is built in small, deliberate actions. Sitting quietly under the fading sun, Haruto reflected. The trial of patience had revealed something he had not expected. Strength was not in conquering others or external obstacles, but in conquering the restless impulses of the mind. The simple act of walking a path, of focusing on the present, had awakened a quiet power that no sword could provide. Master Takeda's words echoed in the courtyard as night fell. Every great warrior, every master of craft has walked this path. The restless mind must learn patience, or it will never wield true power. You have taken the first step. Haruto bowed deeply, understanding that the path of patience was ongoing. The lesson was subtle, yet profound. Presence and focus in the simplest actions shape the mind as strongly as any battle, forging the foundation for the unshakable warrior within. The dojo was silent, the early morning mist curling between the wooden beams. Haruto stood alone, his mind calm yet alert, ready for the next trial. He had faced fear, impatience, and shadows of the mind. But Master Takeda's words lingered. A courage is not the absence of fear. It is action in spite of it. Haruto had trained for years with sword and technique, yet now the challenge was invisible, an internal test of willpower. Takeda placed a single wooden target in the center of the courtyard. To strike it, he instructed. He instructed, but with focus, with mind unshaken. Every swing must be deliberate, every intention clear. Fail and you start again. The task seemed simple, but the real enemy was Haruto's mind. Doubt crept in. Am I ready? What if I fail? What if I'm not worthy? His hands trembled slightly as he raised the sword. He swung. The blade missed its mark. His heart sank. Takeda did not intervene. Again, he said calmly. Hours passed. Each strike demanded presence. Every missed blow revealed impatience and distraction. Haruto's frustration grew. Why is this so hard, he thought. I know the technique. I have trained for this. Takedo approached, his calm voice cutting through the storm of doubt. A skill is not enough. The mind must obey intention, not desire. Each hesitation, each distraction, teaches you. You are fighting your own limits, not the target. Haruto closed his eyes. He remembered the lessons of firewood, of walking the garden path, of facing shadows within. He inhaled deeply, letting the rhythm of his breath align with the swing of his sword. Every movement became deliberate, every strike a meditation. By midday, a shift occurred. The sword no longer felt heavy. The target no longer seemed distant. His mind, once scattered with doubt, was still. Every swing found its mark. Every missed strike revealed a lesson, not failure. The invisible battle within him was being won. Takeda's voice echoed softly. The strongest warriors do not act from pride or skill alone. They act with unwavering will, even when fear and doubt surround them. This is the essence of gammon: enduring, persisting, never yielding. As the sun dipped toward the horizon, Haruto lowered his sword, sweat and exhaustion covering him, yet a quiet satisfaction settled in his chest. The trial of will had revealed the invisible strength he had long sought. Courage was not in victories over others, but in mastery over self. That night, under the soft glow of lanterns, Haruto reflected on the day, every challenge he had faced. The shadows, the patience, the firewood, the focus had prepared him for this moment. The true strength of the warrior was revealed not in triumph over enemies, but in the endurance of the self. Takeda observed silently, nodding once. You are learning. You are enduring. You are beginning to understand that the path of mastery is carved not by chance, but by relentless will. Gammon is not just philosophy. It is the lived reality of those who never give up. Haruto closed his eyes, feeling the quiet power within him grow stronger. Every fear, every doubt, every temptation he had faced was a step toward the unshakable mind. The invisible victory born from perseverance had begun to take root. The morning air was still, heavy with anticipation. Haruto stood at the edge of the training ground, the lessons of weeks flowing through him like an unseen current. He had faced fear, shadows, impatience, and doubt. Every trial had tested him, stripped him of ego, and forced him to confront the restless mind within. Now, the final test awaited, the moment where all previous lessons would converge. Master Takeda approached, calm and steady, his gaze sharp but gentle. Today you act without hesitation, without fear, without desire for recognition. Every action is deliberate, every intention pure. This is the culmination of your training. Haruto nodded, feeling the weight of presence settle fully into his body. The courtyard was quiet, yet alive with the rhythm of his breath. Every movement he had learned, the focused swings, the patient steps, the silent observation of self, coalesced into a single principle. Mastery arises not from victory over others, but from conquest of self. The master placed 3 wooden targets in the center of the courtyard. Strike, Takeda commanded. Strike as if every swing carries your mind, your heart, and your spirit. Strike as if the world watches, yet no one judges. Strike as if failure is impossible, because you will not fear trying. Haruto raised his sword. He could feel the remnants of doubt, the whispers of impatience, the shadows of past failure, but he did not resist them. He acknowledged them, let them pass, and let his focus flow through his movements. Each swing was deliberate, precise, and calm. The targets fell in succession, yet the true victory was invisible. The alignment of mind, body, and spirit. Hours passed, but Haruto did not tire. Every strike, every step, every breath was deliberate, fully observed, fully lived. The lessons of firewood, the garden path, the hall of severing, the trial of patience, and the test of will had fused into something greater. Presence was no longer a practice. It was a state of being. Fear no longer controlled him. Doubt no longer hindered him. Takeda finally spoke, voice gentle yet resonant. You have endured, persisted, and acted. You have learned that the strength of the unshakable mind is not in speed, power, or recognition, but in the courage to act, to try, to persist despite fear. This is the essence of gammon, the strength of those who never give up. Haruto lowered his sword, sweat covering him, but his chest expanded with quiet triumph. He had not fought an enemy, nor claimed a visible victory. Yet the invisible victory, mastery over self, alignment of mind and body, and the unshakable courage to act, was complete. As the sun dipped behind the mountains, Haruto reflected. Every fear he had faced, every impulse he had resisted, every lesson he had absorbed, had shaped him into a warrior not of the body, but of the mind. The restless boy who had arrived at the dojo was gone. In his place stood a man whose mind was focused, whose heart was calm, and whose spirit was unyielding. Takeda placed a hand on his shoulder. The world may never recognize your mastery. Few will see the depth of your strength. But the unshakable mind does not seek applause. It acts, it endures, it persists. This is your victory. Haruto bowed deeply, understanding at last that the greatest battles are fought not with swords but within. The invisible strength of presence, patience, and perseverance had forged him. He was ready to face any challenge, knowing that mastery begins not outside, but within. The wind whispered through the courtyard, carrying the quiet lesson forward. You are capable. You are resilient. You are unshakable because you never gave up.